Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here. And so much is happening right now with regard to the U.S. economy. And seeing that we're now in 2021, I really wanted to hone in on some of those details because things are getting crazy here in the United States. And quite frankly, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have plans for the United States of America. And some of those plans include, which I've shared here on my channel, and that's this, that he wants to use COVID-style policies and restrictions in order to combat climate change. So on the channel today, I wanted to bring an economic insider to kind of give us a look on what that will do. If Joe Biden tries to implement those style policies, what is America going to look like? So I've brought on noblegoldinvestments.com, Colin Plume. Colin, are you with me over there?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that, I think that most economists, depending on what they believe that there's certain things that are bound to happen based on events that have already happened. And I think we've already moved in a direction where more people are going to be working from home. Office is obviously the office commercial space is going to have a lot of problems next year and probably for the next few years. That's already been set in motion. But how far do we want to go with businesses in terms of creating more restrictions in other parts of the country? For a lot of businesses that are already struggling, I think it's definitely a tightrope. You don't want to implement too much. For instance, obviously the housing market is booming right now, and people are moving into a home because they know they're spending more time at home, so they want that perfect home. But California has a law in place where every piece of new construction in California is supposed to have solar panels on it. Now, long term, this will save us money, and it could be a good thing depending on what side you're on this. But to have some of these restrictions right now, which is going to make it more expensive to build, could slow things down. So I think there's definitely some pros and cons, but we're seeing a new reset of working life, the economy, and I think we have to be careful of going too far because that could really slow things down even worse.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. I know right now, I would say the first we've had a meltdown, if you will, already with regard to COVID, the restrictions, the mass businesses out, and I think that's the initial what I'm calling meltdown, because already 110,000 restaurants are out of work. I'm going to throw this up there. Bloomberg.com, restaurant closing tops 110,000 with industry in free fall. And then we have zerohedge.com, Peter Schiff saying global financial markets beginning to decouple. So those are the things that were happening right now. And I guess the thing I want to hone in is will the green economy, so to speak, trigger another meltdown maybe this year if he does implement those kinds of things?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how far. Are we going to go back to the Paris Accord and try to reinstitute that? I don't know. I think that's one of his agendas. So I don't know what restrictions will be put into place. I mean, it's hard to think there'll be more restrictions because we're already so restricted right now in our day-to-day life. What I do know is that, with every new administration, there is obviously a lot of opportunity. And I think that right now, what precious metal could do really well in this economy if we go this green energy, it would be silver. There's just no replacement for silver right now in solar panels and what we're talking on right now in phones, I mean, all the technology, all the data centers that are being built all over the world to handle the huge amount of data that's being used because more people are working from different places. And not to get too much into this, but basically you need to have a lot of infrastructure in place to have people working remotely. It's easier for a business to have everybody in one location and have all that data there. But when you move people all across the country, data centers have to be built. There's a lot of microfibers and things that have to come into place, and silver is a big component of that. So what I look for is yes, obviously we want people to go back to work. We want things to free up. It's not going to happen right away. So what industries are going to thrive through this economy? And I think that silver is going to have a big part to play in this. And I think where it's sitting right now, we've already seen that the reset of gold and silver happened in November, December. We saw that pullback. And now we're seeing people really jump in because we have this new administration potentially coming in a few weeks. And so that could shift things even farther in this direction. And gold and silver have really pushed. Gold moved up 3% yesterday, which is the biggest uptick we've seen since November of last year. So we are seeing it start to move up again. So I think there's some really good opportunities. And one thing that people are asking, can I get it at home? A lot of people don't realize we can help you in your IRA and move that over. We have a team that does all that paperwork, and feel free to check out our reviews. We had over 30 reviews last month for our company, all great reviews. But a lot of people don't realize we can ship gold and silver to your home, platinum, palladium. So if you want to touch some of these metals and get them in your hands, that's absolutely something that we can do. We can get it delivered. So if you want to just, you have some cash, you want to get it out of the banks because you're not making any money, this could be a great opportunity to get into some gold and silver.
Absolutely. And you guys can check that out at, you can give him a call on the screen there, or you can go to noblegoldinvestments.com to check it out. And what he's talking about, that 3%, I'm going to toss this one up, and that's marketwatch.com. Gold price is up nearly 3% to mark highest finish since early November. So that's the way gold is going. And, I think the key thing here that Colin's saying also, and which I think you'll second, is that we need to make sure that we've got money outside of the dollar, that we protect our families, we protect ourselves, because we know some of the policies that the Biden administration wants to put in the United States of America could very likely cripple us even more, especially on top of everything happening with COVID. If you're doing this massive green agenda, so you want to make sure that you and your family are kept safe. So there's absolutely things that you can do by giving Noble Gold Investments a call today and just letting them know. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really the key. And that's why, you've had this shift of wealth. The wealthier people in the world have grown. And a lot of them is because they know that with every new administration, that anything that can happen, they see opportunities. And I think that's what we're talking about today, is that I do think in the end of the first quarter, we are going to see an initial slowdown. I think the stock market's going to have a pullback. And people right now are looking for safe havens. And even though, with the returns we've seen in gold and silver, they're far outpacing a traditional safe haven of a bond, right? Gold was up 26% last year. Silver was up substantially more than that. These are great, unbelievable returns. And so now we're seeing people getting more conservative and looking at these metals as really protection for their portfolio. And I almost look at it when people buy more insurance because they want to be protected. That's how people are looking at gold and silver right now. So I think it's a great time. All the information is free. When they call in, they're going to talk to a live person that knows about precious metals. We can send you information about everything. And if you really just want to ask questions, that's what we're here for. It's a family-owned business. No pressure environment. So we really want to encourage people to call and get that education that they're looking for.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on the broadcast. I love to bring you on and just give a new light to what's happening today and what we can expect. So all that information can be found in the description box below. And we forgot, right? Also, with any approved IRA, you're giving away this Apollo 11 silver coin here. And this thing is really awesome. I love what you guys have done with that.
Yeah, it's a 5-ounce coin, limited edition, and a beautiful coin that gets delivered directly to your doorstep if you do a qualified IRA with us. So excited to send that to people. Obviously, I'm excited to send it to you, Lisa. And thanks so much as always. And obviously, we'll keep watching your show to see what's happening and all the latest developments.
Well, thank you. And for all of you out there, again, everything's in the description box below. And I hope that some of you were able to make it out to DC today in support of the president and what's going on there. If not, I'm going to be in Arizona at the Capitol right after this video. And you want more information on that, go to the community tab, or you can go to my Parler page or Facebook page and get information. But let's stand and try to make America even better as we head, or as we're in the new year now. Well, thanks again for everything. I'm Lisa Haven, and that was Colin Plume signing out.